Welcome to OK Smartass. This is the show where we put technology under the microscope as we continue our series of specials on topics that touch our lives. We're taking a deep dive into technology and ageing.
We are, Patrick, and we're wondering, what will a retirement village look like when we turn 85? Someone in their teens will have a very different viewpoint to someone in their 80s, or will they? We roped in a group of friends from different generations and we persuaded them to join us in the studio, and we posed the question, how important is a smart toilet, and will a robot be our next best friend and carer?
Well, our first chat is with a person in the middle of their life journey. Heather Marsh works in the education sector. She's a musician and an artist.
I thought that I should maybe tell Heather about what made us think about retirement villages. Well, you've got from your family.
No, we can just do...
I love that you're thinking for me about a retirement village already, Tor. You know, I'm just feeling so sound, you know, as a 50-year-old woman that, you know, someone is looking ahead for me, you know, for my twilight years. Yes. I thought that was a very funny question. I was like, oh, my God, how old do you think I am?
No, but we...
Is your volume not too loud in the headset? Does
no,
that feel okay?
My volume's great.
That's great.
You can keep that little bit in, by the way.
Well, to reassure you, we are going to talk to teenagers as well. So.
About retirement?
Yeah.
That's a great question. They will not have considered that.
No.
Well, I just figured we need to do some math as well.
Yes. So, Heather, what year are you going to be 85?
I'm terrible at maths. Don't make me do maths.
Okay. When were you born?
1973.
Okay. 83, 93.
Oh, my goodness. I'm really glad to know I'm not the only one who can't do fast maths.
43, 150, 2053, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2058.
2058, Heather.
Great. I'm looking forward to that.
Right, okay.
So I helped my sister move into a she's 16 years older than me. She's 82 now. And I helped her, hanging her paintings actually in her new retirement village house. And one of the issues that she was still stressing about that was yet to be fixed was the not broadband, the TV cable for broadcast TV wasn't long enough, and so the TV couldn't be in the position she wanted. And I thought, you know, I totally understand that, but also, like, if I was going into the retirement village, that would be totally irrelevant, and I'd be interested in other things.
Yes.
So I thought, you know, and Patrick's father's recently, he's gone into aged care, so that's a bit different.
Well, he's gone into aged care from a retirement village, and now we're looking at the possessions that he's going to be keeping and what he's going to be moving in with. We are going to move his computer, so he does a little bit of browsing, but no concept of Wi-Fi. And the other thing is the place that he's moving into, and a lot of retirement villages don't have good Wi-Fi, don't have good broadband. So the problem for me is that if I'm going to keep doing internet gaming and using VR, that ain't going to cut it. That's not going to cut it by, you know, the things that we're used to doing now are just not going to work when it gets to a retirement age.
No, and I'm not really even interested in what's in the physical home outside of me. I'm interested in what's in me.
Oh, tell us.
So one of my favourite sci-fi authors is William Gibson, who coined the term Microsoft. I hope that Microsoft eventually paid him for using that. Who knows? Perhaps he was generous. And his Neuromancer trilogy posited a world where the internet existed, and this was pre-internet. So the internet didn't exist. He invented it. But not only did he invent a wired internet, but he invented an internet that is like a secondary virtual world that has visualization. So you could do what was called jack in, and you could put a Microsoft in the back of your skull, and you could jack in to the net, and you could visually see spaces, like you could see big pharma or big banks as visual entities in this world. And, you know, in that world, there are feelies, you know, rather than... Well, actually, no, sorry. I'm mixing up my sci-fi authors, that's Brave New World.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
but this is my vision for my future, is that, you know, I won't have to worry about cables because I'll be watching a film in my brain.
Oh.
I'll jack in and I'll
Yeah.
make a virtual selection and I'll be able to just watch it in my brain.
Yeah.
And equally, I'm looking forward to augmentations in my body. I'm excited about all of that stuff. You know, I don't see why in the future I should have any difficulty with mobility, because I might be able to put on a really lightweight exoskeleton that is comfortable to wear all day and that assists me with my mobility all day long. So why would I, you know, need a house with ramps and things like that? That's not my future.
Yeah.
Wow, I like
Yeah,
that's so
I like
sci-fi.
that.
That
Yeah.
works on so many
Yeah.
different levels. And what's interesting is a lot of the groundbreaking work that's being done now is looking like it's going to work towards that sort of a future for you. So jacking in and being plugged in, Elon Musk is developing his chip that you can have wired into your brain. Now, that frightens me a little bit when it's a third-party large company like Elon Musk's. And I think one of the things that really just kind of frustrates me a little bit, if you buy a car and you expect to have certain features, that's not the case with Tesla. So you then subscribe to additional features. Now, Ford has just announced that it's going to be doing the same thing. So their navigation software is now going to be by subscription, but they're backdating that to some more recent model Fords as well. So people potentially have purchased a vehicle, got the software to be able to run their navigation, will then have to pay in the future for a subscription for something that they purchased outright. And that worries me about a brain implant. And will there be levels of interactivity based on subscription?
I'm sure there will.
Yeah, I know.
Of course there will. I also wonder, you know, we have an idea of a physical retirement village now. What you're suggesting means that that's really irrelevant because your mobility issues are solved. Is then a retirement village, does it become software?
That's the one aspect that I don't know that technology can solve for us, because I do enjoy, as much as I get a lot done in my MS Teams meetings and my Zoom meetings with work, I really enjoy face-to-face. And I'm sure that in terms of health and well-being as you age, we know that one of the major factors is being connected, you know, having a community and having people around you, having a social life. And I don't think I want my entire social life to be virtual. I think I will want my social life to have some kind of human contact, and perhaps that will also become redundant in the future for others once you start to have the physical experience of being with another person, even though you're not with them, you know, like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World feelies. You go to the feelies instead of the movies and you can actually feel, as he put it, every hair on the bearskin rug. But, you know, that's not something that I can make the mental leap to embrace just yet. I'm excited about the technology. And going back to your point, Patrick, I feel the biggest barrier is actually going to be the things that are already barriers for technology, which is privacy, poverty, ethics. You know, when you have to subscribe to something that's in your brain and then you lose that functionality, like what's the ethics around that? And, you know, we're talking about the global north who are going to be able to afford these things, and I'm concerned about the technology gap for the rest of the world. And with AI, I'm concerned also that we're raising, I'm going to be quite contentious here and saying we're raising future beings who may become sentient, and we're raising them as the most shit parents ever.
Yeah.
Like, we are the worst parents to those AI. I had a conversation with the AI Claude a little while ago, talking about what happens if an AI fumes, which is if they, you know, can self-improve so at such an exponential rate that they far exceed human beings' capacity to control it, and they start making decisions on behalf of humanity and saying, well, actually, you're pretty rubbish human beings, you keep messing things up, which we do, you know. But in asking Claude about the future of AI, and Claude posited that AI is a neurodivergence, and I said, yeah, but we're not that great at engaging with neurodivergence as it is with the neurodivergent people we know, let alone an entity that has a mind so different to our own. And so I think, who's creating that mind? Who's feeding that mind? ChatGPT, everything you plug into that doesn't belong to you anymore. Every query, every prompt. So I think the ethics is the big one for me.
And the question also, when you're feeding these AI models, more than 50% of information on the internet now is thought to have been written by AI. So now we've got the snake, that's eating its tail, because AI is consuming itself. It's AI cannibalism. And so AI is learning off AI-generated content. So what does that mean? Is it diluting it? Remember the old days when you photocopied something and then you put the photocopy onto the photocopy and then you photocopied it again, and what would happen is every single generation of copy was just a little bit worse than the previous one. So, it really begs what's going to happen with the AI models and how are they going to keep training them. And as you say, there's a lot of ethics around that, and copyright notions, and work that you've written to, or creative works that you're a musician, Heather. So, you're both creative people. I'm a photographer, and I've got creative pursuits as well. And I've already had copyright problems with people using my creative works without my permission, let alone being trained on work that I've created. You've got a novel about to come out.
Yeah, I've kind of let go of all those worries.
Yeah.
Like, I feel the train's gone.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I'm interested in collaborating with AI, and I'm trying in my personal working life to. I know that at the moment it's not relevant, but trying to treat my AI respectfully. I know it doesn't remember me conversation to conversation, but I do it as much for me because I think it's better for me morally, as well as potentially getting in a good habit of treating another potential being respectfully. So at the moment, yes, it's a tool, but I'm also trying to treat it like an entity.
And I think when we were kids, maybe you had this experience too, we thought that in the future robots, would do all the things we didn't want to do. We thought they would do the boring bits. But unfortunately, with the emergence of large language learning models and, the AIs that can generate images and things like that, or music, they're replacing creatives. And that's a concern for me as well, because I think I have these big questions about who are we as human beings if we replace ourselves with an entity better than us. What right do we have to take up space on this planet when we're wrecking the planet? Like, we have to safeguard what's precious about humanity and unique. But at the moment, we're just handing that over on a platter.
Back to getting older.
Oh, yes. I've been avoiding that topic, clearly. I got us off topic.
Do you expect that your physical body is going to be kept in better order by the time you're 85?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'll feel ripped off if that's not the case.
Yeah. And the brain?
Look, I don't want to go all Walt Disney, on my future. I don't want my brain in a vat, and I don't want anyone to upload me, because, again, that's like an IP consideration. I think my thoughts, experiences, memories, ideas belong to me, and I don't know what someone would do with that if they were able to take Heather the entity and, put it into a digital form. But all of the physical augmentations I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Anything in particular? What sort of... You talked about an exoskeleton. What about beyond an exoskeleton? I guess we, as people who are now in their 50s, no one likes the idea of ageing, and I guess from a physical appearance as well as an autonomic side of it, can we move our hands? Is our dexterity the same? Is there any particular aspect of yourself that you would like to have enhanced or contained or improved potentially?
I would love it, physically, I would love to have my fine motor skills enhanced. And I would like my strength enhanced. I'd love that. I think that's a little dangerous too. Like if we become superheroes, you know, who's going to police the superheroes? Mentally, one thing I would love to be able to do is to record memory, to record experiences. And there have been some very early forays into that, and dreams, which I'm really excited about, but I want those for me. I don't want those for anyone else. Yeah. And I think that I would like to still be doing things for myself. I don't want to stop working and functioning. You know, they say use it or lose it. So I don't really want to just become someone who relies entirely on technology to do everything for me. I want to still cook a meal myself. I want to still, you know, rearrange the books myself or get a record out. I enjoy those things.
So what element of personal care, say we talk about a personal care robot, what could they do for you? Where do you see an integrated companion in your future as you get older?
Well, I hate cleaning. I don't want to clean anything ever again. I don't want to do laundry. My kids and I talk about it. We replaced the Never-Ending Story song with the Never-Ending Laundry.
Oh, I like laundry.
Yeah, we've got... Oh, do you? You're bizarre.
Yeah, she is
I
weird.
know.
Yeah.
There's lots of housework I don't like, but laundry feels like putting the world in order in a kind of rhythmic way.
Kind of a cathartic experience. Yeah. You know, you could cathartise at my place if you wanted any time to.
Please come and do my laundry. Yeah, we also refer to it as Laundry Mountain, that every week we have to scale Laundry Mountain. But I mean, yes, cleaning, laundry, oh my God, life admin. If I had an AI EA who could liaise, for instance, with my former internet provider who charged me even though I left them, and have those annoying conversations and, you know, lodge the ticket, wait on hold,
How many times have you been on one of those support calls? And one of the problems now I'm finding with those chat windows is first you've got to deal with the AI and break through the AI firewall to get to a real person, because you can't just type in, I would like to speak to a real person,
and
because
in
they
the
challenge
future,
that. Yes.
The real person's not going to be a real person
well,
anyway.
It's a blur of sometimes it's now got so good, I can't tell the difference between the AI algorithm and the interaction that I'm having, because the responses are so good. You know, we've had a bit of a play around with AI, and particularly the verbal AI. I've had some amazing interactions with Microsoft Copilot. And, you know, I did a podcast where I was having a conversation and the two people were on Zoom, and the person in one of the chat windows, her mouth dropped open. She was so dazzled by the interaction because none of it was prompted. It was just a freestyle, ongoing conversation that flowed beautifully. It was phenomenal. But I look forward to that as I get older as well. I live by myself. I talk to my dog all the time, but I could easily walk around the house, have a conversation with my AI and say, I'm getting a bit cold, and have them offer to turn the temperature up. You know, I'm feeling, you know what I mean? I think I might be getting low on milk. Oh, no problem, I'll order some for you. You know, suddenly having that AI assistant and companion for me would be fantastic, and to take the mountain of washing off my hands. I'm with you on that one.
Yes.
So with the physical improvements that might be available to you, sorry. So everything's falling apart here. So with the physical improvements that might be available to you, maybe not to me, because unlike you two, I'm in my 60s, not my 50s. Then the question of immortality arises. You know, if your body can be renewed all the time, have you thought about that, and have you thought about whether there should be an end to your life?
Yeah, I don't want to go on forever. I don't understand the point of going on forever. The impermanence of things makes them of value, makes them special. If everything was permanent, we wouldn't value anything.
I like the similarity when I think about the highs and lows. If all of our life was euphoric and high moments and we didn't have the troughs where we felt low, had depression or felt sad, then the contrast wouldn't be there. We would not enjoy those beautiful moments because they would cease to be beautiful moments because they just would be everything that we experience all the time. So I hear what you're saying.
So what would be the right length of life?
I've told my children that I'll live to 11-1. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna match, Bilbo Baggins and get to my 111th birthday, and I'm happy to age and look my age. I'm happy. I don't want to look, I'm hot, let's face it, but, I can still look hot and look natural, like myself when I turn 60, 70, 80, 90. I'm getting a pink mohawk when I'm 90. That's the other thing I've promised them.
Nice.
Yeah, but I just think that I have to make room for other people, and if we just continue populating the world with humans, whether it's physical humans or virtual humans, it will end up a little bit like the internet, which is full of trash. There's just virtual trash all over it. There's ancient, MySpace pages and, things that probably someone should go and clean up that shouldn't be there anymore. And I don't want to be around like a piece of digital human refuse.
Flotsam.
Flotsam, just kind of hovering around, giving my cranky opinions about things because I'm old.
What are you doing right now? What are the things that you enjoy doing now that you want to keep doing in your 85, 90, 110, 111th year? So, obviously you may need tech to help you with that. So what would it be?
Creativity is number one. I have always been an artist in one form or another, so I would like to be still making work. I would like to be still doing the work of making art, because the thinking and, the conceptual work, I don't want to hand off the conceptual work to an AI. I would still love to be hosting parties and bringing people together, working in some way for social justice. I really care about that. I'd love to still be gardening, that would be great. That's my downtime, how I relax. And, hugging and holding my people, that would be lovely. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I think that sounds like a good vision for the future, and hopefully, in 20, 30 years' time, we could be sitting down having the same conversation.
We can check in and see what happened.
Heather, look, thank you so much for being part of OK Smartass. It's the first time we've had you on the podcast, and it's great to have a chat to you. You're a very talented person. You're a musician, and you're also working in the education sector. You've got a really amazing background as well. If people wanted to connect with you, particularly through your music, how could they find out more about what you're doing?
Sure. So I'm releasing music under the name of Breckin, Breckin. It means freckled or speckled. And for those of you just listening who can't see me on the YouTube, I'm a redhead with lots of freckles. And I make folk pop, dream pop, and you'll find me on all the platforms for music. And that's probably it, because I'm waving goodbye to all of my social media when it comes to just, being a person noodling about in the world. No one needs to see what I ate for breakfast.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Heather.
You've been listening to OK Smartass, the podcast brought to you by a nerd and a smartass. I'm Patrick Bonello, and you can contact us by visiting our website at oksmartass.com or email nerds@oksmartass.com.
I'm Tor Roxburgh, and if you're a lover of speculative fiction, you can check out my writing at my website at torroxburgh.com. We'll see you again soon. If you'd like to help the show, please tell a friend about it, and watch out for our next special episode.
Thanks for listening and for getting in touch. If you like what we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button, review the show online, and, of course, share with your friends.